Fast. Actually, I need to do something on Facebook first. 1 second. So this goes as a live broadcast on Facebook. Forgive me. So I have just come in from a hospital appointment. I've seen. As I was saying, I've just come in from a hospital appointment. Not an appointment, actually. One of my friends, Mickey Holland, is really unwell. I went to see him, and I was with him for about an hour or so, and I've had to come home. And I've come home, and I wanted to just relax and take it easy. I started watching my boss, George Galloway, talk about Romania and what's going on over there. And then I'm sitting here in front of my screens, and I'm watching Twitter. And then all of a sudden, I see a Ukrainian soldier. And this Ukrainian soldier is just crying his eyes out. And he is calling all the leaders, the generals, and everyone else. He's calling all of them names. And he's calling them everything under the sun. And his eyes are just welled up with tears. And he's saying, "You've let me down. You, the generals, you, the people, you, the government, you have let me down." It has broken my heart seeing that, because I look at that person as just another soldier from another working class family like me, a working class person who's had to be put into a war they didn't want to be in and fighting wars for a bunch of rich cunts all over the world. Everyone's making money. And the only people paying the blood price are Ukrainian soldiers and Russian soldiers. And then you've got Donald Trump trying to stop the war. And what do we have? We've got everyone trying to let it carry on because they're really worried about the integrity of Ukraine. Be worried about the people of Ukraine who are sick and tired of it. Be worried about this soldier who is crying his eyes out so badly that me as host, I feel sick. I feel sick watching it. Just need to turn this down. Sorry. And it sickens me to my core when I see a grown man, and he looks like he's in his 30s or 40s, just tears are coming down his face. And I can't do anything about that. And what I can see is a bunch of oligarchs making money, a bunch of rich people making money, and the people that are paying the price are your normal, average, everyday Joe Schmo, who's mostly been picked up off the street in Ukraine and been forced to go and fight these wars, or the Russians who are, conscripted to go and do this. It's almost always the working class people that end up paying the blood price, this altar of war that everyone wants to have blood go to. When are we going to stop this? When is enough money for you rich fucks that are basically thriving upon this money laundering operation? How many more fathers have to die so that their children can turn around and say, "My dad died in a war"? That guy looks like a father. He's got kids. And he's sitting there talking about not having no food, not having no money, and old people don't have enough money. They've taken away their extra money that used to get the benefits and everything else. And this is what's happening to the soldiers in Ukraine. Every single person that's involved in the Ukraine war, the EU, the USA, BlackRock, Vanguard, anyone who's making any profit, you need to die. You all need to die and just F off and leave the planet alone. Leave the poor people alone. Leave the working class people alone. We don't need you to keep causing wars and getting people involved, get us all killed in shit. I'm losing how to talk. I don't normally feel this bad, but I'm so angry that I can't help myself. That's subject number one. Subject number two is Romania. What are you doing? The people of Romania have a right to have a democratic election. Someone has put his name up to be elected, and the EU, through their stooges, through their 10 judges, have decided that they're not going to allow what is a Kalendar Jescu to stand for parliament or for president. Who the hell are you to tell Romanians what they can or can't do? I don't tell the Romanian people what they can and can't do. I've just had one of my staff, one of the most intelligent people, who is a university graduate that worked for me for a few years, phone me up and say to me, "What do we do? What can we do?" I said, "What do you want to do?" Because I'm angry. The whole of my country is angry. People want to fly back home right now. They want to get on the street over there. And I said, "Go outside your embassy." She said to me, "Shall we go outside the embassy?" I said, "Yeah, go outside your embassy." I said, "Don't go in 50 people, though." I said, "Call a general strike. Call a general strike of every construction worker. And this should go out to every single Romanian in this country, in Britain. Yeah, you are the backbone of construction in this country. You are the backbone of this country. With Bulgarians and Poles, but Romanians mostly, you are the backbone of construction. Go on strike on Tuesday. I'm not saying for the whole day because I don't want you to lose a whole day's pay. But take 2 hours off or 3 hours off and go outside your embassy in your tens of thousands and let them know what they're doing is not acceptable. This is not acceptable behavior, because the people that are causing these problems back home for you are actually the Western governments. Why? Because the Kalendar Jescu has said, "I don't want to see any more wars. I don't need another NATO, base built in my country." Now, I am not right-wing, okay? I am a left-wing politician. But you know what? I'll fight for a right-wing person to have the opportunity to go and have a democratic vote. Because I live in a country, I think I live in a country where democracy matters. And if Western civilization is going to survive this, it has to be that you allow votes to take place, that you allow democracy to take place. You cannot switch off and turn off whenever you feel like it because you don't like the vote. The fact that you don't like the results maybe is a reflection upon you to look and see what you're doing wrong, that so many people find themselves being drawn to a right-wing person instead of you as a group of people. What have you done for the Romanian people? What have you done for all of the people in Europe? You've made yourself richer, you've made the poor poorer, and the elite have more of the resources of the whole of the world in their pockets. Every 5 years to 10 years, more of the world's wealth goes to a smaller group of people. Why do we have to live in a fucking world where it's like that? Why do I have to live in a world where people have to have poverty thrown down their throat, where they're at the point of not keeping one job, but 2 to 3 jobs to be able to keep the wolves at bay? Why have I got to pay my electricity and gas bill at 3 times the price I did before the Ukrainian war started? Because America decided to blow up Nord Stream, so Germany can't buy gas. We have to import all our shit from America, and so the Qataris can put the price of gas up because there isn't enough of it around because all the Russian gas has been taken out of the market. Why have we got to fucking pay that price? Why have the British public got to pay that? Why have the German public got to pay that? Because you, as the EU, could not fucking put your noses out of joint and say, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have taken NATO all the way to the Ukraine. Maybe we should have just stopped where we were. You've already gone to Czechoslovakia, you've gone to Bulgaria, you've gone to Romania, you've got all the Baltic states. Why have you got to aggravate people and keep taking it further? I've got friends in America telling me, yeah, Donald Trump is a fucking asshole. This and the other. I'm going, what's he done that's asshole-ish? Oh, Russia's going to invade Poland. When the fuck did Russia invade Poland? How are we even having that fucking conversation? He said that, oh, once they take over Ukraine, they're going to take over Lithuania. They're going to take over the Baltic states. Why would Russia do that? Anyone tell me why the fuck they would do that? Lithuania, Estonia, and the other one, whatever it's called, all got their freedom from the Soviet Union in 1991. Do the fucking maths. 34 years ago, they got their freedom from Russia. Did Russia invade these countries? Did they attack the Baltic countries? No, they fucking didn't, guys. They really didn't do that at all. Russia has no intention of invading anyone. It told everyone in the West, you cannot make Ukraine and part of the, what's it called, NATO. It's a red line for us. They wouldn't give a shit if it was in the EU, but they can't be in NATO. But you had to press the fucking button. You had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's got to the point where Romanians have turned around and said, we don't want to support Ukraine in wars. We don't want another American base to be built in Ukraine. We don't want to, because you know what? The Romanians don't really have a problem with Russians. They don't give a shit about them because unlike us, they're not fucking idiots that have been fed bullshit that they believe by our BBC, ITV, and every other fucking channel of shite that's sitting there becoming a propaganda arm for the military-industrial complex. That's it. They don't want wars. Let them have their fucking elections. It doesn't matter if they choose to have a right-wing person. It's their democratic right to pick who they want. Get used to it. This is going to happen across the whole of Europe. The more you try and hold everyone's throats like this, like sand, it will just fucking drop between your fingers. You are not going to be able to control it. I was an ardent Remainer. I have lived, what do they call it? I've had an epiphany. I am fucking glad that we've got Brexit. I am absolutely beyond glad and happy that we are not in fucking EU anymore. I can't tell you how happy I am. And I tell you what you're doing to Romania, everyone in Europe is going to see what you're doing. And you know what? There's going to be a Frexit. There's going to be a German exit. Everyone's going to want to be out because the EU is a tyrannical, evil organization that is trying to destroy democracy in Western civilization. That's it. You are tyrannical, evil fucks that have brought this man from a Ukrainian soldier who I looked with my eyes and it broke my heart to watch him crying his eyes out, and not crying because he's scared. He is proud. He is a fighter. Like every other working class person that's put in that position, they do what's got to be done. Like every British soldier, they go and do what they've got to do because it's their duty to do what they've got to do. You have broken a human being that did not need to be fucking broken. But you did it. You managed the EU because all you've done is not give him the opportunity to live his life in a peaceful way. You have engineered a situation where there's going to be a forever fucking war. And now you're going to spend 800 billion pounds or euros to arm Europe for what? Against what? Russia's not interested in invading us. They're not interested in invading Europe. This is another way for you guys to make you rich richer, the poor poorer, and turn around and say to us, well, we need to spend that money on weaponry, so we can't spend it on your hospitals, on your roads, on the social services and securities. All of them have to be sacrificed because of Russia. Wake up, Europe. Wake up, EU. You've been taken for a fucking ride by a bunch of evil, tyrannical cunts. That's what it is. They're an evil bunch of tyrannical cunts. That is what the EU is made up of. They are not there to help you. They are not there to serve us. They're there to serve an oligarchy. They are there to serve a bunch of rich bastards and how they're going to make more money. They won't stop the war because they want minerals, rare earth minerals. You should stop the war because you've exhausted the level of the men that exist in Ukraine. The fact that you've broken a soldier that looks fit as fuck and can fight, you've broken his spirit and made him cry his eyes out. You should be ashamed of yourself and you're fucking cunt. You are absolute fucking scumbags. Stop it. Release the chains. Release the people. Let them have their democracy in Romania. Stop telling people what they can or can't do. Just fucking stop it. And I really do hope that all my Romanian staff, you speak to all your Romanian friends on all the construction sites. Get together and make Tuesday, the 11th of March, the day that British construction sites are shut down, number one. Second of all, there is a huge tens of thousands of people outside the Romanian embassy saying, don't stop us having our election. They are stopping Calin Georgescu from putting his name up to stand. Not even, like he can't win or whatever, but not allowing his name to go forward. It's like in this country, saying to an MP, you can't stand. Why? Because the EU said so. I want to run for Parliament. My name's Hos. I want to run for Parliament for City of Westminster. No, the EU said, you're not allowed to stand for that. What's the EU got to do with me? Nothing. But it's got its friends, its judges. They've got 10 judges there. And by the way, they're not judges. They're not judges. They're people who've been appointed by the special interest groups who are running the government of Romania, 4 of whom have decided that Calin Georgescu can't run, and 6 said he could run. So even though the majority said that he can run, these 4 have somehow or another scuppered it and said he can't run. I really hope that Romanian people in Romania come out in their millions and have a massive general strike to teach a lesson to the EU and to those assholes in government in Romania who think that they can tread on the throat of the Romanian people, that they can't do that. Come out in your millions. And those of you in England and Europe, Romanians all over Europe, come out and go outside of every single one of your embassies. Make Tuesday the 11th of March the biggest outing of Romanian people. There's a lot of you in Italy. Make sure Italy comes to a standstill for everywhere you go and work. Go on strike everywhere in Europe to teach them a lesson, because Romanian people actually are one of those countries that have got such a huge part of their population outside of the country. Bring the whole of Europe to a standstill. They deserve it. They deserve to be shut down. I'm going to stop now, but I am absolutely fuming. I'm fuming for what I have seen happen to a young man. It breaks my heart. I'm going to stop there because I'm just repeating myself. But thank you for listening to my ravings, and my anger, and my fuming. But I can't handle what's happening at the moment. A friend of mine's dying in a hospital. He's 84 years old. I've known him 30 odd years. I come home with that in my head, and then to see a guy who I know is a capable soldier breaking down, calling all of his generals faggots, you fucking crybabies, calling them all sorts of names. He's doing that because he is fuming, because he's been let down by civil society in Ukraine. And all of your pressure on Ukraine is doing this. And it's all coming from Britain, it's coming from the EU. And I'm glad that America's not part of it anymore. I'm glad Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. I hope he gets what he wants to get done, because we don't need any more fucking wars. We need some peace and quiet. We need to stop spending 800 billion euros on weapons. You need to stop spending that money on your weapons and start spending it on your people, so people don't go hungry, so people's bills can come down. So people, you should be providing shit for nothing. because you've made everyone suffer for the last 15 years. We've had 15 years of fucking austerity in this country. Stop spending our tax money on weapons. Spend it on old age people. Send it on the poor in our country. Spend that money on people that can't even fucking heat up their houses. Yeah? Because you either eat or you heat. That's where we are. And I'd imagine it's exactly the same thing across the whole of Europe. Finally, fuck you, EU. Fuck everyone that is involved in what's happening right now. And I fucking wish you all death. Anyone who is in a position of authority that has seen what's happened to this soldier, the whole chain of command, I fucking wish you nothing but fucking miserable life. Fuck it. Give up. I'm done.